Hello and welcome to my Blender to Unity Tower Defense game tutorial, and in this part I think it's about time we added some sound effects to our machine gun turret and to make sure that the enemies make a decent explosion sound when they get destroyed. So let's get started. Kaboom! Alright, we'll be pleased to hear that adding sound effects in Unity is extremely easy to do. This is probably why I'm able to do it, because if it was difficult I might struggle. There are some caveats to me saying it's easy, but let's start with the explosion sound effect that we want to add a sound effect to. And this is actually really simple. I guess the hardest part was finding the sound effect, but what I did was went on the web, of course, searched for the word explosion.wav, I think I searched for, or explosion.mp3, and I found this brilliant website called freesfx.co.uk. You need an account, but the image files, the audio files are free to use. You just have to credit them in any work that you do. So, brilliant, great job, guys. And I had a little look for explosion. I think the one I ended up going for was this small blast, which I will play for you now. Please bear in mind this might be loud, so just keep your volume low. But I'll press play now. Alright, so there's just a little small blast making it sound like it's something's exploded. So once I've done that, I was able to download it. Very simply put, I created a new folder called Sound Effects. You'll see there's also one called the Machine Gun, which I'll come to in a minute, but here's that small blast file. Alright, it's a little long actually, we could maybe trim that up, but I didn't trim it up. I could do that in Audacity, and I'll show you what I did in Audacity in a minute. But yeah, okay, so we've got our sound effect, our small blast sound effect, and all we need to do now is just go over to our prefabs, go over to the explosion here. And if we go to the bottom, and now if we just go to sound effects and just drag our small blast in like so, okay, and then it will when we instantiate this explosion prefab, it will also, if we just click on play on awake here, that should already be set, it will play it automatically. Now I am going to lower the volume to something like 0.4 or 0.5 maybe, because I noticed that on my recording application is really loud and it drowns out my voice. The one other thing just to be aware of is this duration here. If you remember that we set a destroy game object when this explosion prefab explosion particle effect finishes, so by making this a little longer, it'll ensure that this audio source also gets a chance to complete. Okay, so it doesn't get destroyed before it's completed. I think 4 seconds is long enough. Alright, so that's our explosion sound effect created. So let's just give that a quick play. 1 second, I'm going to disable the machine gun effect so we can just hear that. 1 second. Alright, so let's press play. I had to just disable that other script. Okay, so here we go. So let's just double check the console. Make sure there's no weird. Well, let's just let it run, see what happens. As usual. I'm sorry, you've got the sound effect as well. My apologies. But you can hear that the enemy objects are exploding. So let's talk about how I did the turret sounding fire as well. 1 second. I thought maybe I didn't save it again. Now the machine gun was slightly difficult to do. What I've done, like before, I added a audio source to the machine gun game object. Okay, but now I've not clicked play on awake, and I do have loop selected, which makes sense. I hope that makes sense. You don't want to play it immediately this thing gets loaded. You only want to play it when it's engaged. And the way I did that is if I spin into when I develop here. Okay, what I've done is in the machine gun targeting system, we can reuse that logic to engage target and disengage target. So what I'm going to do here now is I'm going to say, right, well, let's get the audio source. That machine gun sound, all right, and we will, by doing that, we'll just say firing sound equals game object.get component audio source, all right, and just quickly spin back to Unity. That's working because this script is in the same game object as the audio source, so we don't have to go searching around for it. It's in the same game object. That's good news. I don't know what happens if you've got more than one audio source. I'm guessing you have to get a little bit more smart about how you do that. And then what we need to do is we need to say, well, when the engaged target, I'll just uncomment these. When we've engaged target, we'll say set the loop to true. Okay, and I'll come on to why that is in a second. And firing sound.play. Alright, so we'll start playing the thing and it'll loop round over and over again. If we disengage the target, now I could just say stop, but I don't want to say stop because it comes to an abrupt end, and I don't like the way that sounded. So what I did was just switch off the loop so that it kind of faded out gradually. There are other ways to do this, but I liked the way that worked. Alright, so if we just Control S that now, bear with me 1 second. I want to make absolutely sure that these audio clips. Now, I've had to lower the volume right down. You should keep these at 1, I'm guessing, for now at least. We can work on getting the volume right, but I've had to lower these right down for the sake of so that XSplit doesn't blow your ears up. And the other one was the explosion, wasn't it? Let's just make absolutely sure I haven't done something stupid there on the audio source. No, that's on 0.5 because it was a quieter sound. All right, and that is all I have done. That's right. So now you can very easily see that we can very quickly add these to the other turrets in the engage target and disengage target, and now we'll have decent sounds when they explode and when the turrets are firing. I'm hoping that you'll hear the sound fade out. It's not 100% clear, but trust me, if you press stop, it doesn't sound anywhere near as good, in my opinion. The other thing I was playing around with was actually just copying the audio source into the muzzle flashes, because from the previous tutorial, what we did was we disabled this and re-enabled it. So just copy that audio source there, and then when it gets disabled, it will stop playing. And when it gets enabled, it will replay. But it had that abrupt start and finish. I didn't like that. I liked the idea that it kind of faded in and faded out. I had to have a little play with the audio source, and I can highly recommend that you download Audacity if you need to play around with audio. The problem was that this is the actual clip. As you can see here, this is the bit I've exported, just a couple of fires. If you have all of this, then it won't stop playing until it reaches the end. Now we can have a think about how we might want to. There are ways you can get around this by effectively just slurping the volume down to 0 when it's disengaged, but I thought just for a quick clean solution for now, just a couple of fires and it'll always fade out quickly. And that is it, people. That is how I've added sound effects to my game. Obviously we're going to add a few more as we go along, and we'll add maybe some music, perhaps some eerie sounds when the alien objects are moving around, something like that. I don't know. Perhaps one day they'll be firing at us and we can have some sound effects for them, but for now that's all we're going to do. So thank you for watching. As always, like, comment and subscribe. I'm going on a subscriber driven process here, and you know what, people, you're just constantly subscribing, so thank you so much. If you have any problems, put them in the comments. I will do my utmost to answer them for you. All the best. See you next time. Bye bye.